WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Skins. It's bowling with a whole new twist as New England's best bowlers battle for cash prizes in every box. Candlepin Skins is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and once again, welcome to the Londonderry Bowling Center here in Londonderry, New Hampshire, where the crowd gathered here is ready for another edition of Candlepin Skins. We hope you are too. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. And, Bob Mazur's string finally ended, but Rich Lotti is still going strong. This will be his 8th week in a row here on Candlepin Skins.
Yeah, and he carries another Rich with him. Rich Clark was carryover from last week, so it's not the Rich and Bob, it's the Rich and Rich show now.
And they'll be joined by two new bowlers. Bob Kelly will be here, and also Alex Pendleton, who hasn't been with us in a little bit, couple of years or so. And, of course, they'll be competing for cash prizes here on Candlepin Skins. And here's how it works if you are new to the program. The bowlers compete individually, and they will roll just one box at a time. This, of course, a departure from our regular format. The high score in any box wins the skin. The skin, of course, being the dollar value assigned to that box. And the skin value increases if the high score is tied by two or more bowlers in any box. Then that money just carries over and is added to the next box, and so on, hoping to build that prize money jackpot up. And, of course, the top two bowlers in total pinfall will return next week. That's how the bowlers can really add to their cash winnings. Now, here's the way the cash works out. We bowl 2 games here on Candlepin Skins. In each game, boxes 1, 2, 3 are worth $10 each. The next 3 boxes are worth $15 each. 7, 8, and 9 are worth $25 each. And that important 10th box, of course, worth $50. And last week, a great indication of not only what can happen, we had Gary Carrington down to the final box needing a double strike to win and needing a mark to win the skin, which he got for $100, and he very nearly ended up qualifying for this week.
And like it always figures out, he wins the most money in skins, but he's not back this week.
Well, let's see how it works out this week. We'll get these 4 bowlers underway with our first of 2 games on Candlepin Skins after these messages. And welcome back. Candlepin Skins off and rolling again. Rich Lotti, talk about rolling.
Oh, he's been on a roll.
This is week number 8 in a row for Rich Lotti. And with the prize money that he will undoubtedly earn today, he will go over $1,000 in prize money during this run. And here's Alex Pendleton. And Alex with a big first ball.
The 5 and 8 left for Rich. Piece of wood in front should be no problem. Ooh, it's kind of high, but no problem.
Like you said.
That's right.
Alex Pendleton for the mark as well.
So, right away, he'll take a strike to take this first skin. Otherwise, the carryover will be in effect. First, Bob Kelly on lane 30.
And Rich Clark. Oh,
and he
the
does
strike.
take the skin.
And Bob Kelly cannot convert the spare. So Rich Clark, who bowled very well last week, finishing in first place with a 259, picks right up with a strike in the first box, and here's what it looked like.
Testy 4-pin, kind of twirls around in the spot, finally falls. Now Alex Pendleton on lane 30, he'll fill the spare, as will Rich Lotti.
Oh, for the spare? Almost. For Alex Pendleton, trying to convert the half Worcester. And Rich Lotti cannot convert his either. 10 for Alex. 9 for Rich Lotti. So no marks in this box yet. It's a $10 skin.
Rich Clark on a strike.
This is our lefty pairing here with Rich Clark and Bob Kelly. Oh, almost. That pin almost snapped over to take out perhaps the 2 and the 4 for a strike for Bob. Well, if he can convert this, he'll win the skin. Nope. Well, now somebody needs a 10 to have the skin, or else Alex Pendleton will take it. It's a 9 for Rich, 10 for Bob to have the skin, and we carry over. So now the third box is worth $20, and that's how it works here on Candlepin Skins.
That should be a 9 in Rich Clark's score. We'll correct that.
The thing that's amazing about Rich Lotti, Dan, during this stretch is that when he originally qualified for the show, he finished 8th. And we had a pin missing from Alex Pendleton's rack, I believe. So we're going to try and get Alex to re-rack. We'll get Alex Pendleton to re-rack because there was a 9-pin missing. So we'll have him do this box over again. As I started to say, though, Dan, Rich Lotti's roll-off score when he first qualified was 597, and he finished 8th, just qualifying for the show. And now he's in his 8th week. Oh, how about that?
Re-rack that was.
And it'll be a 10 for Rich Lotti. So the re-rack works to Alex Pendleton's favor as he marks up a strike in the third.
This is an 8, and I didn't even see it.
So it'll take a strike to have this skin now. Bob Kelly is off target. Now Rich Clark. Hold it. So that'll be a $20 skin for Alex Pendleton. His first.
Kelly sliding by the head pin.
$10 for Bob. And Rich will settle for a 7. So the scores are close, but not particularly high to this point. Alex Pendleton has the edge right now with the strike up, and he will fill that strike. $15 fourth box here.
A little light in the 1-2 pocket that time for Alex. Leaves himself to 3, 5, and 7. And Rich Lotti off target, but just the 1 and 3 left. Good break there.
Almost with the back door. 9 on the strike for Alex Pendleton, and the spare up for Rich Lotti. Alex will take a 9 for 50 through 4.
Well, looking for somebody to tie or beat that spare. It's going to take another spare to carry over, or the strike by either Bob Kelly or Rich Clark first. Well, no strike by Rich Clark and a difficult spare leave. Bob Kelly. Likewise, advantage Rich Lotti right now for the skin.
Well, Bob Kelly does not convert this. It'll be Rich Lotti's skin. Oh, he does!
He take it away.
So instead of $15 in Rich Lotti's pocket, it's a carryover. Rich Clark takes 8, and the fifth box will be worth $30. Here's Bob Kelly's spare. All he had to do was hit the right spot. So what I started to say about Rich Lotti, Dan, was that throughout his stay with us, he's been bowling in this first position, which you would think would be somewhat of a disadvantage, not only for knowing what you need to get to win a skin, but also what you need in pinfall. but he's been able to continue on in spite of rolling in this number 1 spot. 8 fill on the spare, or 7 fill on the spare for Rich, and he goes by the spare attempt. Alex Pendleton slips by. And it'll be a 9 for Rich Lotti, 62 half. Alex Pendleton will be at 60 for the half.
During this series, each week, boy, the scores have been extremely close. After one game and going right down to the final frames, deciding who will be the, especially the number 2 spot, and carry over to the following week. This week, no exception so far.
A 10 is good to win this skin right now. Bob Kelly with just 3 on his spare, and he slides by trying to take it inside. Well, it'll take a 10 box to have the skin now. Bob just trying to bail out here. Boy, give him credit. He tried the inside again, and he comes out of it with a 7. And that's a 9 box for Rich, so that skin for $30 goes to Alex Pendleton, and it will take us to a break. And you see the scores still pretty tight here. After the first 5 frames, we will be back on Candlepin Skins in a minute. Alex Pendleton and Rich Lotti as we continue here on Candlepin Skins. Alex Pendleton from Groton, Mass. He and his wife Beverly have 3 children, Steve, Gregory, and Chris. Alex works as a manager of the Photographic Standards Lab at Polaroid Corporation. Drops 8. Rich Lotti. Oh, big first ball. 9. No spare for Alex. Or for Rich either. And they'll each take 10.
Well, 10 was good last box. It's not going to be good enough this time, though, as we already created the possibility of the carryover.
This is a $15 6th box. Rich Clark. Oh, big first ball, and taps the 7, but does not. Yes, it does take it out. Had to wait. The strike for Rich Clark, his 2nd. Good enough for a skin unless Bob matches it. Oh.
Come on, get over 7. Take it.
Oh, that may go. Let's see. No. Had a couple of bowlers rooting for it. Spare for Bob after the 9 drop. Here's the strike for Rich Clark. Good thing we stayed on it because it took a while. Just that little tap eventually was enough to cause the 7 to rock over.
Well,
so that strike wins $15 for Rich Clark.
3 out of the 4 skins that have been won took a strike to win it. The other one's a 10 box.
And this 7th box now worth $25. Spare for Rich Lotti. No for Alex. $10 for Alex. Well, those marks in the last box stand by Bob and Rich are just going to, Bob and Rich Clark that is going to just tighten it up a little bit more.
Bob Kelly now working on, as Doug said, that mark being a spare. Little full, gets a good break when the 3-pin went down. Leaves himself the 4-7. Rich Clark on the strike.
Oh, Bob picks it. Does not get the spare.
Much to the smiling Rich Lotti,
who has just won himself a $25 skin now. And Bob Kelly will take a 9. Eight for Rich Clark. And check out how close this is. Of course, Rich Lotti working on a spare, but still very, very tight here. Everybody but Bob Kelly now has won at least one skin in this first game. $25 eighth box. Alex Pendleton. Sounded like he dropped that one a bit.
Usually if you drop the ball, you'll leave a right-hander will leave it to the right of the head pin. That's exactly what happened with Alex. Just too fill on the spare of Rich Lotti. So just when he was making some move to increase his lead, it's a disappointing fill on the spare.
Ooh, and now he's going to work hard to get out of this box. Alex will take 8. And a nice job by Rich to take 8. So an opening for both Bob Kelly and Rich Clark here. Rich Clark first, and there's a strike. His second in a row over on lane 30. Last one won a skin for him. And so will this one. $25 more for Rich Clark. And Bob Kelly has had a couple of spare leaves in a row and has not been able to take advantage.
The worst part of it, he's taken out the object pin both times, one closest to him. Just a little too full. 10 box, 86 through 8. And here's the replay of Rich Clark just tripping that 4-pin.
So now we move to the 9th, which is also worth $25. Rich Lotti in the pocket for a strike, his first. Watch out, because he's been in the habit of throwing double strikes here the last couple of weeks. Alex Pendleton. Well, it was a little full, but interesting because of the wood if it holds position. That piece to the left is critical now. It's gone back a little deeper.
Try to snap this wood.
Nope.
He's trying to go right. I'm sure want to go a little further right than he did. But no mark to show for it. Now for the 10 box, and it's going to be 97.
Here's Rich Lotti's strike. Rich, again, even though he's a right-hander, he travels from right to left as he approaches the lane, and he really, the Brooklyn hit for him is not a bad hit.
No.
Oh, to have the skin almost for Bob Kelly.
Rich Clark is going to have it. He'll have himself a double strike, but left that ball to the left.
That's $25 for Rich Lotti. And still, Bob Kelly is the only bowler without a skin. Looking for a spare right now, and he's got it. Very delicate shot. Fine shot for Bob Kelly, much more difficult than it looked. Clark can't make that one work. It'll be an 8 on his strike. And a 9. 102 through 9 for Rich as this match continues. Very, very close. And you can see we've had all kinds of skins won. We've only had 2 carryovers in this whole game. So box number 10 is worth $50, and Alex Pendleton will start it off.
Can't put a freaking mark on a strike.
Well, Rich Lotti working on a strike. Doesn't exactly have a spare leave. Neither guy does, really. Rich takes 8 on the strike. Alex Pendleton, Dan, had 2 marks in the first 3 boxes, but he's been open since then, and he will finish at 106. Rich Lotti at 119. 119 may be good enough to lead this thing, depending on what the other bowlers do here.
First, Rich Clark, lane 30.
He's crossing over and way over.
Yeah, he pulled the ball badly to the right. Now Bob Kelly working on a spare, and he was low man. This is going to help his cause.
Oh,
Oh, it's really going to help it.
How about that for the $50 skin for Bob Kelly? Oh, my. Bob just turned away. I don't think he could believe it. Not only does he win the $50 skin, but he may be in the lead. When this first game ends, that'll be 111 for Rich Clark, and Bob Kelly has 2 bonus balls, and he already sits at 116, so if he gets 4 or more on the strike, he'll have the lead.
And he's fighting to keep that smile off his face.
Oh, for another one, almost.
Many times that happens. When you steal one or don't hit it the conventional way for the strike, you usually bury the next one and get a double. Bob almost did that.
Well, Bob Kelly goes strike spare in the 10th, and Bob's got to be figuring, he's got to be wondering how he's in the lead right now. And he won $50 to boot in that last box. So Bob Kelly, the overall leader, and a pretty good battle for second right now behind him. We'll be back on Candlepin Skins. Well, it's all worked out very nicely here on Candlepin Skins after one game. Look at that. Each bowler with $50 in skins money, from Alex Pendleton with 4 all the way down to Bob Kelly with 1, but the money value has turned out to be the same. Of course, Bob winning that big $50 10th box, and he's in the lead, and we go to game 2 with Rich Lotti leading off. That's never happened before, and I dare say it might be a long time before it happens again.
I think so.
Well, Rich almost got a strike.
9 3/4. That 6-pin is still rocking.
Rich had 4 marks in the first game, but just 119, and he starts off with a mark here. This is a $10 box, box number 1.
Alex moves over to lane 29.
We had 8 winning boxes out of 10 in that first game. Only 2 carryovers. First time in a couple of years that Alex Pendleton has been with us, Dan. He was here on doubles a couple of years back. For the spare, no, almost.
Pretty good effort. Almost cut that 2-pin over.
And it'll be an 8. So Alex is still looking for mark number 3. He had a strike in the 3rd frame of the first game, but he has not marked since then.
Bob Kelly finished with a flurry. Let's see if he can keep it going. Well, got that pin to come off the wall. That'll help the shot somewhat. 5, 6, and 10, and he wants it to stop right about there. Well, it continues over. He could try to fit the ball in the hole between the wood and the 5-pin, or possibility of the wood way on the left.
That's where he's going. Oh, my. There's also a possibility of the ball going between that wood on the left and the 5-pin, and that's what happened. So it's a 9 box for Bob, and the spare is still good for Rich Lotti, unless Rich Clark can answer. Rich L and Rich C, of course, on the computer scoreboard. And Rich Clark really pulled that one again. So unless he can convert the half Worcester, it'll be Rich Lotti's skin. And it is. There's the other Worcester.
Well, I don't know what Rich will do. Probably try to go for the head pin and see if he can get 4 or 5. That's what he does. Gets a couple more, so just a 6.
We move to the second box, which will also be worth $10. bad tap on that 6-pin if it had gone the other way.
Boy, that was flush on the head, dead on the head pin, and he got a lot of mixing action with that ball. And after all said and done, he had, oh wow, just barely stayed on the lane with that one, but he did clip the wood in the front. So
let's see.
Take a look at this. There, he just moved that front piece of wood, so therefore the ball was legal, but he almost slid all the way to the right by everything.
Alex Pendleton looking to break a long drought. He's gone 8 boxes in a row without a mark.
And it's not going to be easy here with a 4, 7, and 10.
And he can't jump it over there. That will be a 10.
So again, Rich Lotti sitting in the driver's seat, not only in the score, but he's leading for another skin in the second box with that spare.
If Bob Kelly were able to put up a mark here, Dan, he would be able to increase or better his position also. We'd have kind of a pull-away situation for Rich Lotti and Bob Kelly. Can't quite convert it. He's still going to be in second place, but it won't be quite as comfortable as it might have been had he marked. 10 for Bob. So again, Rich Clark, a spare to have the skin or a strike to win it. Anything else, and it goes to Rich Lotti.
Well, it's not going to be an easy spare, that's for sure.
The more I think about it, this... Oh, does he have it? Almost. So that's $10 more to Rich Lotti. The more I think about this Rich Lotti situation, Dan, with this, his 8th straight week, and he's winning all this prize money, and he qualified low to get in. This is very reminiscent of another Rich that we had way back when we first came on the air, Rich Dion.
That's right. Ran the table. First 6 weeks, that's when we were doing 5 shows in a ladder championship, and he ran all 5, coming from the 6th spot all the way up.
And that close to a strike. And the interesting thing about Rich Dion is he has not been on the program since then. And not many people knew about him, I don't think, prior to that, and probably the same could be said of Rich Lotti, but they know about him now, although he misses that one, trying for his 3rd mark in a row. And it's still there.
Well, we should have 10 up here.
Alex Pendleton desperately in need of a mark. For confidence purposes, if nothing else. Well, at least he'll have something to shoot at this time. Or
there's a strike.
No, he won't. He won't have anything to shoot at. Second strike for Alex and his first mark since the same 3rd box in the first game when he also rolled a strike. Bob Kelly to answer. No. And the spare for Bob. Rich Clark really in need of something here too. Gets on the head pin this time, and look out! Oh boy, he almost had a bad break there on that 6-pin.
Looked like they would be a mile and a half apart, the 3 and the 6. The 6 finally toppled over.
Oh, and he misfired.
Mistake.
Does not get the spare. The strike for Alex Pendleton wins the skin for $10. And there's the 10 box for Rich Clark. But he will drop to 4th, most likely, when Alex fills that strike. Rich Lotti and Bob Kelly, Dan, in danger of pulling away. It hasn't happened yet, but...
Bob Kelly's got his sights on Rich Lotti right now, too. He's only 11 pins behind him, but he's working on a spare. Rich Lotti will shoot at the 4 horsemen to the right.
Ooh.
All right.
And Rich will take an 8. Allowing the other 3 bowlers to close the gap a little bit.
Well, if Alex Pendleton was to throw another strike here, he'd be pushing Rich Lotti.
Thin hit. Not much of a mix. Love to see that 10 pin go down, but it won't. Got at least a shot here at jumping this over for a spare. Let's see what happens.
Oh, good effort.
So he takes 9 on the strike. And a 10 box, which is good right now for the skin. Bob Kelly working on a spare. I believe this is the first time we've had 2 bowlers from Stoneham on the show at the same time. Bob Kelly and Rich Lotti both from Stoneham, Mass.
Not a good break off the head pin for Bob Kelly there. Just a 4 fill on the spare.
Oh, yeah. What a shot. Even just to get the 5 pins on the right is a terrific shot, but then when you add in the 7 pin, oh, that's a great shot.
Well, Rich Clark needs a strike to take the skin, a spare to carry it over.
Oh, not bad. There you go. There you go. All over it.
It's a nice break for Rich Clark with the ball he threw. Can he convert it? No, went by. So that's a $15 skin for Bob Kelly. The 10 for Rich Clark. 10s aren't good enough for Rich right now, though. He's in 4th, as you see. Still time. Rich Lotti may lose his lead if he doesn't throw a mark in this box. Well, let's see. 7, 8, and 10 with wood everywhere.
Now his only shot is either try to get by that front piece of wood on the left or drive it straight back. But then comes the problem, the 10 pin.
Oh. This is a $15 skin, this 5th box. $10 for Rich. And now Alex Pendleton.
Bad break there when the 3 pin went down.
Same leave, 7, 8, 10. Different wood.
So you have to go after the piece of wood on the right.
This is one of the great things about Candlepin bowling, though. The combinations are just endless because of the wood possibilities. And you saw Rich Lotti was able to take out the 7 and 8, and this time Alex Pendleton takes the 8 and the 10. Neither one of them gets a mark. 10 box for Alex. Well, this ball could give Bob Kelly the lead. But it does not. Bob had the overall lead after game 1, and look out, look out!
That was to take the lead for the skin, too. We have a pair of 10 boxes that carry over so far. It'll be up to Rich Clark now.
There's another 10 box. You know, we haven't had a carryover dance since the 4th box of the first game.
Rich would not only like to win the skin. If he wins the skin, that means he's put some mark up. That's going to help his total pinfall because he is in 4th place, as Doug said. Oh, a little late with the ball. Left it out to the left.
Maybe overcorrecting a little bit because he's been pulling the ball a lot today. Oh, no. Well, that creates a carryover. And it also creates a big ball right here for Rich Clark. Oh, he just clipped the head pin and he gets nothing else. $3, that will take us to a break. We'll have a $30 carryover when we come back here on Candlepin Skins. Here's Rich Lotti. His 8th straight week here on Candlepin Skins, and right now, he's in good shape to make it 9. He's in the overall lead right now by 3 pins over Bob Kelly.
And he's been open up with a spare 9. That he missed the single, and then he's been open those next 3 boxes. So it's not over from a long shot, but we'll have to put some marks up. It's open again. Alex Pendleton. Chance for him to creep a little closer to Rich Lotti. Oh boy.
Look out. So a $3 for Rich Clark before the break, and now a $6 for Rich Lotti after the break.
Must be that alley.
Rich Lotti just said it must be that alley.
Can't be us.
Alex Pendleton had the ball breaking away from the head pin, and then it turned right and came back toward the pocket.
All right. Now the spare lead.
Yeah.
7-10.
Oh, hum.
Well, I would try to play the right-hand tip. It's going to push it back and come in contact with that second piece and maybe snap those two. Let's see. So he goes to the left and makes the shot. Good boy, Alex.
Always do the opposite of what Dan suggests.
Yes, I guess so. Didn't use that back piece of wood at all. I think we both would have made the shot. Bob Kelly. He's got to hope that Alex doesn't make a run at him. He's just 9 pins behind Rich Lotti. Also a box behind, so he could actually take the lead with at least a $10.
Yeah, that's $6. It cost Rich Lotti the lead here.
Yeah, and you saw Bob's reaction. I think he was more trying to split those 2 pins and use the wood to get the last. Ooh, kind of rushed that one. So they're exactly tied at 190 now, as you can see. But right behind, Alex, 173.
Really, Rich Clark needs something here. Needs to make something happen. Again, he pulls it to the right, but he'll have a spare lead. Could have the skin with this spare as well. If not, Alex Pendleton will take $30. And so he does. $30 skin for Alex Pendleton. He's got $90 now in all. He's the top money winner for the moment. $8 for Rich, and he just seems to have lost his rhythm. Interesting, Dan. Rich Clark has 3 strikes, but no spares today.
Well, you know, you and I have talked about that a number of times. When the strikes outweigh the spares, I know, folks. I know what you're saying. Regardless of what Paul Berger did,
Right.
it usually means you're struggling. Of course, I refer to Paul Berger and Glenn Shattuck on the regular singles format.
And speaking of our Sunday show, we'll have our semifinals of the mixed doubles tournament tomorrow at 12 noon here on the Winds. It'll be Dan Broder and Janet Pock going for their 2nd win in a row, and they will face Paul St. Pierre and Deb DeRocher.
Big ball for Alex Pendleton.
Yep.
He's 173 plus this ball. Cumulative total, of course. Light hit, but gets 8 and 3 and 7 pins. Not an easy spare leave, but a makeable one.
Can he split it?
Yes,
sir.
beautifully done, beautifully. And he now is within 8.
Big shot right there.
Rich Lotti.
This is a 3-way battle right now, and in order to join it, Rich Clark is going to have to put some marks together. Here's Bob Kelly. Oh, big strike! $25 skin on the line here in the 7th, and Bob Kelly will have it unless Rich Clark can match this strike. Oof. Give it to Bob Kelly. $25.
I shall.
And Rich Clark running out of boxes. The other three guys, though, are really locked in a great duel here. Rich Lotti is actually in the 3rd position right now when you consider that Alex and Bob both have marks up. Rich Lotti has had 5 open boxes in a row. $25 on the line here in the 8th box. Ooh. Trying for that jump. Has to go for the 2 in the corner. For the 8 box.
Well, we go to Alex Pendleton at 191 through 7 plus this bonus ball.
And he'll fill it with 8 again. His 2nd straight 8 fill. This will be a much easier leave than the last one. The 1-2. And Alex is making a nice run for himself here late in game 2.
As you
3
see,
marks in a row.
Caught Rich Lotti now by 2 pins plus the bonus ball. And now Bob Kelly is going to probably pass both of them. The decent fill.
Bob Kelly and his wife Marianne have a 5-year-old son Cam, and I know, like the rest of us, they're all happy that hockey is back. Bob works as a mail carrier. Going for the spare. He's got it. Spare on strike. Improving his position and also setting up a carryover unless Rich Clark can throw a strike here. Just not happening for Rich Clark here.
Even when something does happen, it's not good. He had a spare leave. Now he's going to be left with the 4, 7, and 9.
Give it a try. Well, it's going to come down to Rich Lotti, Alex Pendleton, and Bob Kelly to decide who will come back. 2 of those 3 guys will return next week. Rich Lotti, of course, trying to keep his streak alive. Rich looking to make some kind of a mark happen here. And he does. Well, he needed that one.
Certainly did. If nothing else, to give Alex and Bob Kelly something to think about, that he does have a mark working. Back to the task at hand for Alex is a big ball here on lane 29. He's leading by 2 over Rich Lotti.
He's got 3 marks in a row and the 9 fill.
Trying to make it 4 in a row and put a lot of pressure on Rich Lotti.
Oh, he's got it. Fine shooting there on the single for Alex Pendleton.
It's a carryover situation now unless Bob Kelly or Rich Clark can throw the strike.
Rich Clark, I'm sure, would like to get out of here with some more cash, because I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch up unless he throws a bunch of strikes. 7 fill for Bob Kelly.
2, 4, and 6 left. Piece of wood in between the 2 and the 6.
Ooh, he tried to put the ball between the 2-pin and that cap of the wood, but he'll take a 9. So Bob is in the lead, but that does not include Alex's fill, or Rich's fill for that matter. Rich Clark can steal this $50 skin if he were to throw a strike here. Nope. So it's a carryover. Our final skin of the day will be worth $100.
Good luck, Rich.
We haven't had many carryovers today, but this will be a good one here at the end. For $100, the 10 for Rich Clark. And you see the situation. Rich Lotti really needs to put another mark up. He must mark again in order to have any chance. Because he's still 11 pins out of second place right now. Oh, that was a great ball. What
wow.
Oh, what a ball he threw.
He's not ready to go home yet.
I guess not. Strike in the 10th.
Now he sets his sight on Bob Kelly. Would like to pass both of them, obviously. It would take only one of them to falter.
Look out! Oh, my word. I thought he had it.
He wants that wood to turn more for him. It's not a good angle right now, but the wood is still moving, and of course the front piece looks to be out of play.
That will be checked by Cindy Sissom. And a 10 pin sitting there. Of course,
all of a sudden we're talking about Rich Lotti against Alex and Bob. We may be talking about Alex against Bob in the end here. This is a big mark. He's got it.
Yes, 20 more in the 10th, 128 for Rich Lotti for a two-game total, as you see, of 247. That means Bob Kelly must mark. Of course, Alex already has the mark, so Alex might be able to get in without a mark.
Right. He can't afford to make a mistake on this fill, though.
Keep in mind, Rich Lotti has the leg up for the $100 skin as well with the strike. A 6 fill for Alex. He'll need a mark to catch Rich Lotti.
Right. All of a sudden, advantage goes to Rich Lotti, and we're like we said, we're talking Alex and Bob if he doesn't get this mark. And he doesn't.
I thought maybe he'd try for the sweep on the wood. Don't know if it was there, but that a very important pin right there, and he gets it.
So Bob would need a mark with 8 on it to catch Alex Pendleton. No, I take that back. He needs an 8 box.
Right.
An 8 box. He does not need a mark.
243 for Alex Pendleton. Oh, strike! What a shot.
And that creates the carryover in the 10th frame with strikes by Rich Lotti and Bob Kelly. So all the bowlers will be back for that last skin, which is worth, what, $100?
That's right. That's right. So Alex Pendleton will get nosed out in the final box. And Bob Kelly scores 18 in the final box. Rich Clark will finish his game out now, and he already knows that regardless, he'll still be eligible for the last $100 skin. So it's a 6 box for Rich Clark. It will be Rich Lotti and Bob Kelly advancing, and we will come back to settle that last $100 skin right after this break. All right, we have a $100 skin still to settle here. And how about Rich Lotti?
Never count him out.
Spare, strike, spare. 40 pins in the last 2 frames, and he comes from 3rd place into 2nd to qualify for his 9th straight appearance. That'll be next week, of course. Alex Pendleton, who made a nice run of his own with 4 marks in a row late in that second game, but not quite enough. He finished 4 pins out of second place.
Good try by Rich Lotti on the spare.
Alex
Pendleton
gets his spare.
So that eliminates
Rich Lotti is out.
Rich Lotti. Remember, when we're in overtime like this, only the 2 bowlers, if we're to tie again, only the 2 that are tie or 3 carry over.
That's right. Bob Kelly. No, that'll be a tough spare. This would be a nice consolation prize for Rich Clark, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh, really roundhouse that ball.
Boy, he's just been all over everywhere but the head pin, it seems, in this match. So if Rich Clark can't convert this for a spare, it'll be over. And it is over. Give it to Alex Pendleton. The last $100 of the day on that final skin. We'll be back to wrap it up here on Candlepin Skins right after these words. Very close scores for the top 3 spots. Bob Kelly wins it overall. Rich Lotti just 7 pins back. Alex Pendleton misses second place by 4, and not a real good day for Rich Clark, but he made some money as well on the way out the door. And here's the money situation for today. Alex Pendleton, actually the big money winner with that big $100 skin to finish up with $190, and then Bob Kelly and on down the line. So once again, it will be Rich Lotti. He'll be joined by Bob Kelly next week, and then they will be joined, Dan, by Pat Pay and Clarence Davis. That's a pretty good field.
Yeah, a couple new faces, but Rich Lotti is back again, number 9 next week.
Wow, it just keeps rolling for Rich Lotti. Come back next week to see if he can do it again. Remember, semifinal week in mixed doubles. That'll be tomorrow from Park Place Lanes on Stars and Strikes. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a good weekend, everybody.